So I took a photo of the chip, zoomed in with this. I've got this little USB microscope thing that I use for exactly this purpose, being able to zoom in on a chip and look at what the chip number is. In this case, it's a Novoto MS5 1FB9AE, which is kind of a mouthful, but it gives us something to look up. And that brings us here. This is the basic spec for. It's not exactly a data sheet, although the data sheet is here, which we can look at for fun. But this is the basics of this chip. It's not an audio chip. I thought it was some kind of audio processor chip, but it is not at all that. It is just a basic microprocessor. It's like an Arduino or something similar, or really like the processor in your computer that you're probably watching this on, or your phone that you're watching this on right now, except it's considerably cheaper and weaker. So it is a 24 megahertz processor. I mean, this is kind of its like block diagram. And it has some target applications and things like that. It runs from 2.4 to about 5.5 volts, and so on. It is this CMOS microcontroller. CMOS is a particular technology. It's very low power, etc., compared to something like TTL, and it's pretty standard these days. Like I said, 24 megahertz. It's got 16K of flash memory, 1K of SRAM, which is its static RAM that it can use to store stuff. It's got 256 bytes of on-chip RAM, which is twice what the Atari 2600 had, and so on. It's got an internal clock, various different oscillators and things, some power management, a bunch of peripherals, which is likely what we're using here. If we go to our data sheet, I'm sure this is going to be non-trivial. Yeah, this is a 65-page data sheet, just looking at the number of pages. But I'll bet if I get a pin out of this thing, I'm just trying to find some pin out of this, but here we go. Yeah, so pin 7, which we hooked up to ground, is that what we did? Pin 9, yeah, pin 9 was VDD. That was our power supply. VSS is what we hooked up to ground. Is that right? 987, yep, we hooked that up to ground. So that's our two power supplies. The other thing we hooked up to ground was 10, which is whatever this is, one of the IOs. Looks like we are, it was pin 16 that we hooked some stuff up. It's just another, basically, IO channel. So a lot of these pins are just going to be IO channels. And what they've done is they've pre-programmed this thing so that it has it has its own, like there's some program running in it that we are just utilizing. And so we don't get to see the internals of the program or anything like that. But it's just a microprocessor with something that they've built internally. They've just written some program to interact with this. So we're kind of going on a journey of playing with whatever their program is. I don't think they're going to do this, but I do hope that at some point they show us a little more of the internals. Now, the video game chip, if I recall, was very similar, and it was a similar thing where I kind of wished that they had gone a little deeper. Props to them, though, because usually they get a lot of mileage out of this, and they can kind of, we can repurpose some of these pins and things for different things depending on how they're hooked up. So we'll see how this all goes.